talking about elements and what elements in dreams might mean. Metaphors are such a beautiful thing. You know, when God uses a metaphor, whether he's using it in scripture, whether he's using it in dreams, whether he's using it in a thought that he brings into your mind or a vision, that there's generally a logic that comes with it. Usually the element itself will give you clues as to what it would mean metaphorically. And so it's helpful for you to develop your understanding of what different elements might mean, to one, to learn to think metaphorically, but two, begin to explore. Let's just take a look at animals. Often when you have an animal in a dream, the animal is going to represent something about that animal, something that we could know naturally about that animal. Now, it could be about a physical attribute. It could be about a personality attribute. It's something to do with that. Now, let me give you a couple examples so that you know what I mean. Let's talk about a physical attribute. An alligator or a crocodile in a dream. Now, alligators, crocodiles, we have some physical attributes that are pretty obvious. They've got a big mouth and a long tail. Kind of sounds like a gossip to me. They talk a lot and they're deceiving. They attack with their mouth, they defend with their tail, with their lie. Now, that is often a picture. When you see a crocodile or an alligator in a dream, it's often talking about a gossip or that there's gossip that's happening. And so you can recognize that. And that just makes sense by looking at the animal and applying it metaphorically. But sometimes it's more of a personality issue. Let's take a look at an elephant. I mean, there's a lot of different things that an elephant might mean in a dream. I mean, it could be some of the physical elements, because you have the long nose or snout, and then you have the huge ears. So it could talk about someone that's very discerning. That is possible. But it also could be talking about some of the other types of things that we know about elephants. Elephants have really good memories. Really good memories to the point where they stop questioning what they learned once. If you take a baby elephant and you put a little rope around its leg and you tie it to a little stake in the ground, it will learn that when that rope is around its leg, that it can't go very far. It won't even try. Now, that same elephant, when it gets full grown, you put a rope around its leg, and if it wanted to, it could drag a car along behind it if it just felt like walking. And it grew up with that stake and that rope, and you put a stake in the ground and you put that rope on its leg, it won't even try to get away. It'd be the easiest thing in the world if it tried to, but it won't even try because it remembers. And that's something that could have metaphorical meaning. If you have an elephant in your dream, it could be talking about that there's something from your past, a limitation from your past that you actually can overcome, but you don't realize that you can because you're remembering the limitation of the past. That's a possible interpretation of an elephant. It keeps on going, right? It could be, and let's just talk about another aspect, it could be a play on words. It could be talking about just a little twist of language that would cause it to mean something else. Now, if American, and I know American and English are two different languages if you're from the UK, I do realize that. But if your primary language is not American or English, God will probably use puns that would have sense in your language. He might use also English, but he's most likely going to use ones in your language. So it's different in different languages. I'm going to give you one out of English because that's what I'm familiar with, because that's what I grew up talking about. Let's talk about a porpoise. Now, a porpoise looks just like a dolphin, not exactly, and I know if you're a marine biologist, you flinched when I said that, but you have a porpoise, which is an animal that is in the ocean like a dolphin. A porpoise, it sounds an awful lot like a purpose. And so you could have a dream where you see a porpoise and it's talking about something's purpose. That play on words. Now, just thinking through those types of things, what do I know about it physically? What do I know about its purpose, what it does, or how it's created? What do I know about its name? Those can give you clues where you can figure out almost any element there is. Give you one more common one to leave you with, the idea of a car. A lot of people will say that when you see a car in a dream, that it's talking about a ministry or your job, your workplace, right? It's what you're doing to get to where you're going. And that's simply because when you get into a car, you get into a car to get where you're going. It's how you get from here to there. And so in a dream, the cars are often going to represent how you get from here to there. It's what you're doing to get you where you're going. You see, there's a logic, a divine logic, but the logic to the metaphor. Begin to explore that. Begin to play with that. Think through that, and it will really help you. And I'll give you one other clue that will help you to grow in your interpretive ability. Read poetry. It's amazing how much that will help. Read poetry. That will help you develop your metaphorical understanding.